Subscribe Tag TV YouTube channel and press the notification button.
People have to live in unity.
We are still in transition.
Civil society has been decimated.
Of course, we rely on media.
And I think the government has not done enough.
The international community has failed to respond.
No place in the world is perfect.
Yoga event is held here.
Severe injustice and they should be stopped. We should raise our voices, condemn this brutal act.
Hello viewers, welcome to Newsweek South Asia, a program that talks about breeding of terrorism and its impact on South Asian nations. Let's begin with the headlines first. Major terror attack averted by security forces in Kashmir. Pakistani man attacks Gurudwara in England's Derby. Afghan government releases hundreds of Taliban prisoners under US peace deal. And Pakistan continues effort to counter India in Afghanistan. Pakistan has been relentless in its efforts to foment terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir by exporting terrorists and ammunitions into the valley. But vigilant Indian security forces have been successfully busting all kinds of terror plans being hatched in the corridors of Rawalpindi and Islamabad. A major Pulwama-like incident got averted this week as security forces intercepted IED-laden car belonging to an active Hizbul Mujahideen terrorist. We have a detailed report.
This blast could have left a disastrous mark on Kashmir's history if it would have been successfully executed by Pakistan-backed terrorists. An intelligence input about the terror plan helped the security forces to avert the massive blast when they intercepted an IED-laden car in Pulwama on the night of May 27. A white Hyundai Sentra car with a fake registration number was signaled to stop at a checkpoint, but it tried to accelerate and go through the barricade. The driver managed to escape, leaving behind the car laden with 40 to 45 kilograms of improvised explosive device. The car, along with the IED, was later destroyed by a bomb disposal squad. Later, police identified the owner of explosive-laden car belonging to Hidayatullah Malik, an active member of Hizbul Mujahideen terror group. Hidayatullah Malik is a resident of Sharatpura in Shopian who joined the militant ranks in July 2019.
पुलवामा पुलिस ने सिक्योरिटी फोर्स के मदद से इस बहुत बड़े हादसा होने से रोक लिया। तो हम लोग सस्पेक्ट करते हैं जो आदिल जो है एचएम के मिलिटेंट है, लेकिन जैश के साथ भी चलता है, और जो फौजी भाई है पुलवामा में जो पाकिस्तानी मिलिटेंट है, जैश के कमांडर है, ये तीनों मिलके इसको अंजाम दे रहा था।
The plan had chilling similarities with last year's terror attack in Pulwama, when over 40 soldiers were killed as a suicide bomber, Adil Ahmed Dar, drove a car full of explosives into a CRPF convoy. The blast was so intense that the body parts of the martyred Indian security officers could be seen strewn around the area. The attack was carried out by Pakistan-based terror group Jaish-e-Mohammed.
I would like to compliment the security forces for being alert and having an excellent intelligence system and diverting this a major event which could have happened. But it is again a warning to Pakistan and the terrorist network and the ISI, which has still not stopped the old story narrative and their agendas in this area. It's a warning to them that none of their such ill-intentioned activities will be permitted to succeed. It is an indication, it's a challenge and a message to them.
Frustrated by its failure on all fronts in Jammu and Kashmir, Pakistan has been pursuing new terror plots to attack the security forces. Amid COVID-19 outbreak in the past 2 months, there has been a spurt in terror attacks in the Union Territory. Indian security forces have been lucratively foiling all of their attempts and eliminated several Pakistan-trained terrorists. Riaz Naiko, one of Kashmir's most wanted terrorists and the commander of terror group Hizbul Mujahideen, was killed in one of these encounters in Pulwama earlier this month.
Pakistan is a nation of terrorists. Pakistan wants bloodshed, and once again Pakistan is exposed before the international community that see, even during this corona lockdown period, what Pakistani terrorists and Pakistani ISI are doing in Kashmir Valley. Hats off to the Jawans of Indian Army and Jammu and Kashmir Police for foiling this attempt of Pakistani terrorists in Kashmir Valley. This is very big achievement of our Jawans. Once again, Indians Jawans won and Pakistani terrorists failed.
At a time when the countries are making an integrated approach to face the challenge of COVID-19 pandemic, Pakistan is focusing on its strategies to spread terrorism in its neighbor and across the globe. Pakistani army generals, who are the real masterminds behind most of the terror attacks, believe that the world won't notice their devious plans amid the pandemic outbreak. But to their surprise, not only all of their diabolic activities are being monitored, but are being given a befitting reply by the Indian forces.
Pakistan continues to exploit religious sentiments to incite extremism and terrorism across the world. Weeks after the devastating attack on a historic Gurudwara in Kabul city, a Pakistani man attacked the Guru Arjan Dev Shrine in Derby city of United Kingdom. It is predicted that Pakistan is now trying to promote hate among communities across the world. We have a report.
In a flashback, Pakistan-sponsored terrorism created mayhem in India's Punjab state in the 1980s and early 1990s. It promoted Khalistan movement, a demand for a separate Sikh state within India, and provided arms and ammunition to Sikh youth. The Khalistan movement eventually faded away by the mid-1990s, but Pakistan provided shelter to Sikh separatists and since then misleading the Sikhs for its anti-India propaganda. Recently, a Gurudwara Sikh holy shrine in Derby city was vandalized by a man of Pakistani origin in an apparent incident of hate crime. He caused damages worth thousands of pounds at the Guru Arjan Dev Gurudwara. The man also left a note mentioning Kashmir on the walls of the Gurudwara. Try to help Kashmir people, otherwise problem everyone, the message read, along with the phone number. Sikh community leaders from India condemned the attack, calling it an attack against humanity, and urged the government of England to find out the real masterminds of this attack and punish them appropriately.
जिसने ये हमला किया उसको आइडेंटिफाई भी कर लिया गया है। दिल्ली सिख गुरुद्वारा मैनेजमेंट कमेटी इस हमले की सख्त शब्दों में निंदा करती है। पूरी दुनिया के मन के अंदर बहुत बड़ा रोष है इस हमले को लेकर और सरकार को, वहां की सरकार को भी तुरंत जहां कार्रवाई की, अरेस्ट किया है, बाकी लोग भी इसके पीछे, उनको भी तुरंत उनके खिलाफ भी कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए।
This reflects Pakistan's dual policy of promoting terrorism and hate among communities with its aim to promote violence. Nazar Lodi, chairman of World Human Rights Watch and Mustaqbil Future Foundation, criticized the attack in strong words and called for strict action against the guilty.
Highly condemn the attack on Gurdwara in Derby this morning. It is unacceptable in any faith. Place of worship is equal to all of us, regardless of Gurdwara, mosque, mandir, synagogue. We respect all of them. News says that man looked like a Muslim. He dressed like a Muslim. Police should investigate. Let me remind you, in the past, whenever there's a problem in India, there's element in this country who try to destroy good relationship between various communities.
A large number of pro-Khalistani Sikhs who are settled in United Kingdom are used as proxies by Pakistan's Secret Services Agency, the ISI. On several occasions, the ISI sponsored Khalistanis took part in anti-India protest in London. Pakistan aims to revive militancy in India's Punjab state by giving support to pro-Khalistani Sikhs. The Holy Sikh Shrine in Derby was attacked in an act of frustration as Islamabad has failed to garner any global support for its so-called Kashmir issue. Pakistan has also failed to revive militancy in Punjab state.
The glimmer of hopes to end a constant wave of violence arrived in Afghanistan this week as the Afghan government released a total of 900 Taliban prisoners from government's prison in its latest move to further advance the intra-Afghan peace talks. Earlier, the Taliban had announced a 3-day ceasefire on the occasion of Eid. This move came as a surprise to many as Afghanistan has been witnessing various acts of violence since last 3 months, most of which were carried out by the Taliban against Afghan soldiers and civilians. A report.
Afghanistan's peace process was on the verge of collapse following the weeks of violent attacks and the halt of major prisoner swap between the Afghan government and the Taliban. However, a brief ceasefire between the two sides and release of Taliban prisoners has breathed a new life into the efforts to end the 19-year-old war. Recently, Afghan government released 900 more Taliban prisoners from the government's prison after Taliban declared the surprise 3-day ceasefire to mark the Muslim festival of Eid al-Fitr. Afghanistan's President Ashraf Ghani welcomed the Taliban ceasefire announcement and urged to extend the ceasefire to further negotiate the intra-Afghan peace talks.
د طالبان لخوا د اوربند اعلان هرکلی کو او بیگاش پمه ټول امنیتی او دفاعي ځواکونو ته امر کړی چې اوربند به په بشپړه مراعات کړي او یوازې دفاعي حالت غوره کړي.
President Ghani said that a government delegation is ready to immediately start the peace talks with the insurgent group and also asked them to release Afghan security and defense prisoners from their captivity as soon as possible.
اعلان میکنم که در رهایی زندانیان طالبان حرکت سریع خواهد آمد و اقدامات جدی صورت خواهد گرفت. در عین حال سر طالبان صدا میکنیم که زندانیان قوای امنیتی و دفاعی ما را که نزد از اینها موجود هستند و زودی ممکنه رها سازند.
After suffering from years of war owing to the extremist Taliban fighters, the released Taliban prisoners claimed that they look forward to peace and stability in the country.
موږ د ازادي ته ډیر خوشاله یو چې څومره په دې خاطر چې دا د صوبې او د سولې او د امن او د اسلامي نظام او د اسلامي حکومت لپاره یو ډیر ستره مقدمه ده او ستر خنډ دی چې د بین الافغاني مذاکراتو او د اسلامي نظام د احیا مجدد لپاره یو ستر ګام دی چې حکومت او طالبان په مشترک سره اخی موږ واقعا موږ ډیر خوشاله یو چې دا مقدمه د لپاره دراتو د سولې کې.
Shortly after the release of Taliban prisoners, Taliban spokesman Sohail Shaheen called it a good progress and said the Taliban would release a remarkable number of prisoners soon. It is the single largest prisoner release since the US and the Taliban signed a peace deal earlier this year. The United States and the Taliban inked a peace deal in Doha on 29th February that calls for the full withdrawal of American troops from Afghanistan within 14 months, including a Taliban guarantee that Afghan soil will not be used as a launchpad against the US and its allies, the launch of intra-Afghan negotiations and a permanent and comprehensive ceasefire. The deal also calls for Afghanistan to release up to 5,000 Taliban prisoners and Taliban to release 1,000 Afghan soldiers as a prelude to peace negotiations. but the exchange of prisoners was repeatedly delayed. Now this development has raised prospect of an extended cessation of violence and revived the long-delayed launch of direct talks between the government and insurgents over a permanent ceasefire and a power-sharing deal.
The Afghanistan government had initially released about 1,000 prisoners. In fact, it has got 5,000 prisoners with it, and now another 900 have been released. So this has definitely created an atmosphere of trust between the Afghanistan government and the Taliban. And the most important part is that even the USA has welcomed it, and it is hoping that the Talibanis do not go back to the violence. And for a change, Taliban seems to be in a mood to negotiate, whether it's a tactical decision they have taken, whether the decision will hold good in the long run. Only time will tell, because the Talibanis are very eager to ensure that the US forces leave Afghanistan and go back so that they can have a complete runover of Afghanistan.
The United States, which is keen to see the peace process move forward so it can withdraw US troops as soon as possible, lauded the Taliban's decision to accept the truce. US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo welcomed the move and tweeted that this presents a tremendous opportunity for Afghans to overcome other obstacles and move urgently to intra-Afghan negotiations that end the war. However, there are speculations that this brief ceasefire might be a public relations move, as the Taliban is taking a lot of criticism from Afghans and international community due to its intensified acts of violence in the country.
Moving on, Pakistan is consistently hatching plots to shrink India's presence in Afghanistan to continue its devious nexus of terrorism in the war-torn nation. It is making determined efforts to hamstring Indian interests in Afghanistan. A recent report of US Department of Defense has revealed that Pakistan is aggressively countering Indian influence in Afghanistan by providing extensive support to the Taliban and the Haqqani terrorist network. A report.
Pakistan not only shelters dreaded terrorists in its own territory, but provides constant support to Taliban and other terrorist groups in neighboring Afghanistan. It aims to counter India's growing influence in the war-torn country. Pakistan's ugly truth has been exposed in a new Pentagon report which says Pakistan continues to focus on countering Indian influence in Afghanistan and harbors the Taliban and groups such as the Haqqani network, which have the ability to engage in violence on Afghan soil. The report by the Inspector General of the US Department of Defense for the January-March quarter reveals a continuation of Pakistan's efforts to achieve its strategic objectives in Afghanistan, including shutting out India from the war-torn country.
India is not allowed to make any efforts to build bridges there or do any reconstruction work in Afghanistan so that it increases its influence. The reason is that first and foremost is that Pakistan views Afghanistan as its own area for its strategic depth. Second is that it is the father of Taliban and the Haqqani networks that are there, and the ISI is supporting these and training these militants.
Preventing India from gaining significant footholds in Afghanistan has always been Pakistan's top priority. It assumes that India's deep presence in Afghanistan can hamper its devious nexus with the terrorists. And this report by US Department of Defense comes at a time when the US Special Envoy for Afghanistan Reconciliation Zalmay Khalilzad has called on India to hold direct talks with the Taliban. However, Islamabad has made determined efforts to ensure that New Delhi remains pushed out of any peace agreement that might decide Afghanistan's future.
Pakistan fears that it will get isolated and India will have access to the entire Central Asian area, because Afghanistan, as you know, is at the key cornerstone of the Central Asia, and if India is allowed to function there, as what is India doing, Pakistan fears that it will be sidelined and marginalized, and at one time may even cease to exist.
India has been using its soft power in Afghanistan and helped the war-torn nation for rebuilding infrastructure. A large number of Indians are working in various construction projects as part of India's rebuilding efforts in Afghanistan. India is the largest regional contributor to Afghan reconstruction, having provided an assistance of nearly $3 billion, mostly on humanitarian and development activities. It enjoys goodwill and open support amongst all sections of Afghan society with deep-rooted cultural ties. On the other hand, the United States realizes that Pakistan has been playing a negative role in Afghan affairs and controls the main levers of Taliban leadership by providing them with safe sanctuaries and nurturing and directing their activities. Similarly, its support to other terrorist groups, mainly Haqqani Network, is leading to worsening of the situation in Afghanistan. This has irked Islamabad, and it continues to harbor terrorists in Afghanistan, which is a major hurdle in bringing peace in the war-torn nation.
Moving on, residents of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir are facing the atrocities of police officials even at the time of coronavirus crisis. Neither the government is providing them with any kind of medical assistance, nor can they step out of their homes to seek for it, as they are being beaten brutally by the police officials if they do so. Have a look.
Brutalities of the Pakistan police amid COVID-19 crisis have increased the woes of the illegally occupied POK residents to many folds. Locals who have already been reeling due to poor medical infrastructure and lack of proper corona testing facilities are now also bearing the brunt of police officials as well. Recently in Muzaffarabad city of POK, policemen attacked the rickshaw owner and his female family members while they were going for a medical checkup. As per the owner's wife, policemen treated them as if they are not the residents of the region but thieves or dacoits.
मैं मंथली चेकअप करवाती हूँ, ठीक है, तो 2 महीने हो गए लॉकडाउन की वजह से मैंने कोई अपना टेस्ट कोई चेकअप नहीं करवाया, तो मैं इनसे कहती रहती थी, लेकिन इन्होंने कहा था कि रिक्शा अलाउड नहीं है। उस वजह से आज मैंने इनसे कहा कि आप कोई भी बंदोबस्त करें, किसी तरह से भी कन्वेंस का बंदोबस्त करके तो मुझे हॉस्पिटल लेके जाएं। तो इन्होंने काफ़ी कोशिश की, लेकिन इस तरह से हमें कोई गाड़ी अरेंज ना कर सके हम। तो मैंने कहा चलें, आपका अपना रिक्शा है, आप कोई मजदूरी के लिए तो नहीं जा रहे हैं ना, फैमिली है, हम लोग साथ हैं, तो आप जहाँ पे कोई पूछे तो बता दीजिएगा। ज़ाहिर है मैं ये सोच रही थी कि हमारी पुलिस जो है हमारे साथ तावन करने वाली है, लेकिन मैंने आज पुलिस का असल रूप देखा है। उन्होंने रिक्शे पे जब वार किया ना तो रिक्शा उलट पुलट हो गया, इनके कंट्रोल में नहीं रहा, इनके बाजू पे भी मारा है ना स्टिक से, तो रिक्शा इनके कंट्रोल में नहीं रहा है। ना उन्होंने कोई रोकने की कोशिश की है, ना कुछ, बस अचानक से हमला किया जैसे हम कोई चोर डाकू हैं, जैसे हम इस कश्मीर के रहने वाले हैं ही नहीं, हम शहरी नहीं हैं, हम कहीं से हिजरत करके आए हुए हैं, हम लोग यहाँ के मकामी नहीं हैं, हम लोगों को जैसे कोई हक नहीं है कहीं निकलने का, अपने आप को चेक करवाने का भी।
The government has imposed lockdown in the region amid COVID-19 outbreak, but no arrangements of conveyance have been done for the people even in case of emergency. And somehow, if anyone uses his own vehicle, he has to meet with extreme cruelty of the police officials, and the same happened in the case of rickshaw owner.
हम हॉस्पिटल आ रहे थे तो उस वजह से कोई गाड़ी भी नहीं थी, कोई ऐसा कोई कन्वेंस नहीं थी जो हम हॉस्पिटल तक पहुंच सके, तो रिक्शा इस वजह से लेकर आ रहे थे। और पीछे एक 2 नाके से हम गुजर के आए, वो कागज़ दिखाए उन लोगों को, उन्होंने छोड़ दिया। और 0 पॉइंट जब पहुंचे तो वहाँ पहले तो कोई भी था ही नहीं, साइडों पे कहीं छुपे हुए थे। जब वहाँ पहुंचे तो उन्होंने अचानक ही वार करनी, छड़ियों से वार करनी शुरू कर दी। उन्होंने वो फ्रंट शीशे पे ज़ोर से स्टिक मारी, तो वो शीशा जब टूटा तो हमें कुछ पता नहीं चला, और रिक्शा हमारा जाके खाई में जा गिरा।
Police brutality also came into limelight few weeks earlier when they harassed and beat the youth of the region at the pretext of coronavirus lockdown. Locals even blamed the cops for the death of a youth named Zishan Ayub after he allegedly violated the lockdown imposed in the region. Pakistan-occupied Kashmir has registered more than 148 cases till now, and still Pakistan is taking no necessary measures in the illegally occupied territory to contain the spread. They have just restricted the people to their homes by imposing lockdown, but have done no arrangements for them to even meet their basic requirements, and in case they step out, inhuman treatment is meted out to them.
And with that, we come to the end of this edition of Newsweek South Asia. We will be back next week with more news, views and analysis from the subcontinent. Meanwhile, do keep writing to us at nwsa@anin.com. This is Shreyasa Vijay signing off on the behalf of entire production team of Newsweek South Asia. Goodbye and take care.
Subscribe TAG TV YouTube channel and press the notification button.